keep going on even though it opens up. Yes. Hi, everyone. Hi there. Hey. Welcome into Women Unscripted on Prime Time. We are fired up today.
Yes, we are.
Fired up because we want to make a difference in your life.
Absolutely.
And you're going to hear why, right?
Oh, for sure.
We said our prayers just before. We all joined in hands and thank God for the gifts that we have and why we are all here. And it all started with a story. I'm your host, Barbara Marville Kelly. With me are my three co-hosts today, Helena Trengata, also known as Tinkerbella, because she spreads her fairy dust everywhere she goes of goodness and joy. And of course, Mona G, who is absolutely so precious. And with the direct connection, getting ready to, well, we're going to talk about what we're getting ready to do
we have
here.
Lots of stuff going on.
I know. Angel Nally is back by popular demand because she has a new book release through Bellissimo Publishing.
The best.
It's called Angel Wings, and you can get it on Amazon. And you're going to have a few more books to be able to get as well, probably by fall. And we're going to be talking about that as well.
One of those, I think, is going to be yours, right,
And
Barb?
one of those, I think, is going to be yours as well.
That's right.
One of the reasons why this was a whole God thing, bringing...
I was just going to say, it's a God thing. The perfect timing thing is a God thing, too, right?
It is.
Absolutely.
It is perfect timing, especially with the Women Unscripted show. If you tune in and watch the shows and enjoy what we share, we laugh, we cry, we get into some deep, raw subjects from time to time. No, we're nothing like The View. We are The View, okay? For each and every one of you that are maybe seeking out some inspiration and motivation, it all starts with a story. We all have a story. And I want to start out the show today just by touching on a story that was transformational and life-changing for my dear friend, who at the time was coming to an event to support me, because that's just how she rolls. That's who she is. So I'm going to kind of turn it over to Helena to share this story, because this is really where you are today as you were before. You were selling Arbonne at the time, and you came to an event for women. And I'm just going to let you finish telling that real quick, because nobody can tell it like you did.
That's right.
She's stuck.
Well, no, it's just the fact that I have told this story many times, and I wonder if the viewers are even interested anymore. But I will say that I went to Barb's. We weren't really good friends at that time. We were more acquaintances. I went to her house saying that I only am going to give you this amount of time. I'm going to leave after this. I'm just here as a courtesy, really. And I went in, and British was there, our friend British Hill, and she asked some questions. And they were about what would you do if, you actually know the questions better than I do.
Right. I ask, what would you do? And I'm going to ask you that as well. What would you do if you had all the money in the world, all the material goods that we think we need, the stuff, you know, the iPads, you had enough money in the bank, you had the house, your dream house that you always wanted, your cars, everything's paid off, you're sitting pretty. Question that I asked was, would you be doing exactly what you're doing right now?
Yeah.
And then I quieted down, and then I let it go.
Which is difficult for Barb.
And it is very difficult. It's very difficult for me. But I let go, and
there were easy 14, 15 women in the room. And we went around the room, and the stories started touching my soul. The stories. Each woman had a story. Each woman had a different story, but nevertheless touching. Each woman, it was a God-filled night, because they spoke from their soul. And and I'm sitting there going, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to break down, because there were tears. Before we got to me, there was someone who had cancer, and we had a group hug before it got to me. And I'm saying, I'm on a time schedule. I cannot do this. So it got to me, and I was like, I'm fine. And you know what fine means. Went on around. There was more stories, and then I excused myself, and I left. But I was not untouched. I got in the car. I was crying, and I couldn't stop crying. And I called my friend Alice, who was actually invited to this event, but I knew that she had another, Alice Togardo, who had another event that night, so I figured she might be in the car, and sure enough she was, and I said, I don't know what just happened. I don't know what happened, and I don't know what to do with it. And long story short, I ended up having a good cry that night. I went and did my event the next day. I wrote Barb, who again, we were not really close buds at all. I wrote her a very lengthy email, and I said basically the same thing. I don't know what happened tonight. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I was moved in a way that I don't even know. And I asked God to show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. And within a couple of months, I had enrolled in a coaching program. I became a coach. Then I got a little tap on the shoulder, and I actually was told to be ordained. And I was like, what, God? Are you kidding me? Because, I'm the biggest sinner here. I think you got the wrong woman. You need to go next door. But I did. I became ordained. And just slowly but surely, the path was shown to me to help other people tell their stories. And it started with my husband. My husband's a fiction writer, had already been published traditionally. E-books were coming in, to the world. This was several years ago. I don't even know how many years anymore. Do you remember?
I think it's been at least 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, he had already been published. I said, well, you are going to do your next book as an e-book. And he was like, yeah. Send me the stuff. He never even looked at the stuff. And I started my coaching business online, and I said, well, I could do your book. If you're not going to do the book, I will publish your book. I can self-publish you. And because I had started my coaching practice online, I started writing about it. And people started coming to me saying, will you help us with our books? And lo and behold, it's many years later, many stories have been told. I published many people, and it never ceases to amaze me what God brings to me.
That's right.
I mean, I didn't know Angel. No. These two knew Angel for a long time.
long
They
time.
knew Angel. I don't know how I missed out, but I met Angel when I was supposed to meet Angel.
Yeah, exactly.
And now Angel
is her book
is published.
Angel Wings.
Angel Wings
Publishing.
Yeah.
And she's such an angel.
I don't know about that. I do. I can attest to that.
I
Yes,
can too.
absolutely.
Well, we go
And
back.
she didn't. So we had a class about a year ago. It was
Yes.
almost exactly a year ago
Almost
that I
to
met
the day,
Angel.
if
I met
not the
Angel.
day.
And 1 year ago.
Yeah.
And she came in and said, I think I have a book. She was encouraged to come in. She has been a writer for quite some
By
time.
both of Barb and Mona, because Mona sent me a private email
Yes.
and said, I feel God told me it's your time. Do you remember that?
I do.
And I was like, that's
I
it.
do. And you were so apprehensive. And remember, we set up a coffee date. And you came in, and gosh, like 3 or 4 hours later, those coffee dates, right?
Yes.
And she just felt that was right. The time was right. And even her husband, Sean, had been pushing her
Yes.
and telling her that it was time.
He
and
supports my journey very
Yeah.
much so.
he's really such a support of you and you to him.
Yeah.
You guys are just like an amazing couple.
Oh,
Thank
that's for
you.
sure. Well, I was reading.
Takes one to know one.
Yeah, exactly, Mona. Well, I was reading what you would post on Facebook, and it touched me, and I thought, that was something about Angel I didn't know. Because Angel used to be my massage therapist about 25 years ago.
Angel
for
also
like
had a
10 years.
transition.
Yeah, she had a transition as well. So
You can read about it in the book.
Right, it's in the book that you can get on Amazon. And
By Angel Nally.
it's so beautiful. I keep this right close to my chair in our family room, and I thumb through it and read and reread. It's the kind of book that you don't want to put down. Keep it on your nightstand next to your bed. It really is heartwarming. So I'm glad that you shared your little story, because look where this has evolved. We didn't even know each other. This is really God's work, bringing us all together. And Angel and I go back, it has to be 25 years. Whoever thought that we would come together like this? And then Mona, when you two started the workshop last year, I was so taken in by everything that Helena thought something was wrong with me because I wasn't talking.
She wasn't
yes,
talking,
I
remember?
that night.
I was just taking in the gut-wrenching stories from women. And I had several awakenings, knowing that, yep, I'm supposed to be doing this.
And you know what, again, it never ceases to amaze me. We did not advertise it as a faith-based book writing class.
No, we did not.
We
because
did not.
Everybody's welcome.
Everybody is welcome.
Everybody's
so
welcome.
we're having
Yes.
this class again. We're doing another version of this class starting tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
Yes, that's our orientation.
Yes, it's
I'm so
our
excited.
actually intro class, so you can kind of come and see who we are and all that. But we did not advertise that class to be a faith-based writers class. We just said, we put it out there and we said, it's a writing class. Come on in if you think you might have a book. But the room was filled with faith-based women, faith-based women.
Yeah.
And we had one man that came. But we had, God was present.
Oh, no doubt. Absolutely.
Was definitely
No
present.
doubt.
One man?
Yeah, Myrtle's husband came.
Wasn't that the second
Might have been.
orientation? Yeah.
Might have been.
Because I think on the first group it was
No, he
all
wasn't there the
women.
first night. He didn't.
Yeah,
He
it
came
was-
later.
It was amazing. And, the friendships that have come out
Yes.
of this. Now,
Yes.
we four knew each other already. And there was like a combination, like one of us knew somebody else and another one knew somebody else. But even to this day, I mean, the friendships just continue on. And it's just the
Well,
blessing
Mona and I
goes on.
met about 5 years ago, I
Yes.
think. About 5 years ago. She was selling 31 bags, I think.
Yes, I was.
And I was, God only knows what I was doing. I was probably coaching at that point. I was coaching at that point.
Can you hold that story and bring it
Yes,
back?
yes.
We are going to do a little housekeeping. Hopefully you are enjoying the show and the stories. It's going to get better. We'll be right back after this. At a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
at a certain age, so this is supposed to happen. No, it's not supposed to happen. Hi everyone, welcome into Primetime TV. Our special edition, the last Monday of every month, is Women Unscripted. And unscripted, we always are. You can always count on that. We never know what to expect. This is all laid back.
We don't even know what Barbara's going to talk about when she comes
I know. They asked me, well, what are we going to talk about? I go, if I tell you, it won't be unscripted. But anyway, I'm Barbara Marville, and Barbara Marville Kelly, that is. Yeah. I have Helena Tringata, Mona Giordano. And Giordano, yeah. And Angel Nally. Thank you so much, ladies. Now, normally, we have Maura Sweeney, and we also have Sharon Kistler. And girls, if you're watching out there today, because our show's archived, we're doing a shout out like I promised. And we do miss you.
Thank you for sharing your seats with us.
I know, isn't that great?
We're keeping them warm for you.
Exactly. Cher couldn't come today, and that happens every once in a while. Maura Sweeney, congratulations, girl. She received an award, and I can't remember what it was with, but it was Woman of the Decade.
Whoa, that's awesome. Congratulations.
So,
congratulations,
big kudos
Maura.
and congratulations to you, Maura. And
yes.
Maura shares her story of, she's the happiness ambassador.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, exactly. And Cher, of course, is the Amazing Woman with her Amazing Women group. So we'll see you next month, I hope. Yes. But let's get back to the story that you were sharing just before we took our break. Mm-hmm. And you were talking about, remind me, about with Mona.
Well,
when you met Mona.
I met Mona at a Father Girls International event. Well, no, it was a Father Girls International event. It was probably the first, they just started. And you were there, and I met you, and we got a little chance to talk. You said, come on over to the shop, and we'll have a little coffee. And I did.
How many hours later?
And both of us were in tears by the end of that time. She showed me some video and some music that she had done about, I'm not going to give away that story either, but the fact that Mona has come a long way, boys and girls. Long way she's come. And I'm so proud of you for at that time I said, I want to tell this story.
Yeah, she did.
And she's going to tell this story.
All these years ago, Helena was prompting me and telling me, you need to share this. You need to share your story. And, one excuse after another, like most people. It's, I don't have the time, or you discount it down and you say, there's nothing different or unique. It's like everybody has heard this kind of story before, but our stories are our fingerprints. They are our signatures to life. Every one of us has something that is so unique, and even if there are similar situations, we handle them differently. And so I'm honored to be walking alongside of you, with you, side by side in this journey to get that book published. I've made a public proclamation that I'm going to have it in print. I have a speaking engagement in October, and so that is my goal, and these are my accountability partners, and I've got a great coach that is going to hold me accountable, give me direction, and we work really good together. So don't we? Don't you think we work good together?
You guys do.
Yes.
You guys work great together.
Well, so the time is now, and everybody has a story in them.
They do.
Everybody. People say sometimes, oh, I don't have a testimony like yours. Nothing really that extravagant happened in my life. But, God calls each one of us exactly right where we are. And those circumstances are something that we are to share with others, to give glory to Him, of course, but also to encourage and inspire and uplift one another.
That's exactly what we're here for.
That is what we're here for.
I don't want to take away any of your, but in our class, and Mona teaches this class with me, because Mona has become our social media expert. And as I say all the time, don't I, say that finishing your book is just like birthing a baby. The work has just begun.
Yeah. The promo starts long before the book
promo
is ready,
should start
doesn't it?
long before.
Yeah.
And Mona can help you with that. And so we co-teach these two classes. And Mona brings to the table a whole lot of information and classes, including with this class, I have an option to do a vision in a bottle class.
Oh, yeah.
So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I do.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, we have, first of all, let me say that we have tomorrow night is going to be our orientation. So actually you weren't there on the opening night, were you? No. But you were. Mm-hmm. And so that is what happens tomorrow night for this season's What Your Story. We're going to be doing the orientation. So we hope that all of you will come out and join us and hear all about it. But we're going to give you also on Saturday, April the 7th at 10 o'clock in the morning from 10 to 12. That's correct, right? Time-wise? We're going to do something that God downloaded to me, something a little bit different. It's a vision in a bottle. So you've heard of a vision board, and you've heard of a message in a bottle. Well, this came straight from the Lord, and it's called Vision in a Bottle. And it's fun, it's creative. We're also going to be doing a group coaching session. So in addition to doing the craft project, you'll also have a group coaching session with Helena and I promise you this is going to be an amazing time. So the way that it works is you get a bottle, an empty wine bottle, and then you have access to stickers and paints and chalk paint and broken
bling,
jewelry,
of course.
lots
Bling.
and lots of
We got to have some bling.
We have years worth of broken bling, okay, and some of my mama's bling, and anyway, so you get to embellish these bottles with your vision and your dreams. So especially as it relates to, in this class, you're writing dreams, you're writing visions, you're blogging aspirations and so forth. And then on the inside of the bottle, this is the in the bottle part, you're going to take a scroll and you are going to write out your visions and your goals on that scroll, and then you roll it up and it goes down inside of the bottle, inside the cork. Now what happens, it's a kind of built-in accountability. So
Absolutely.
for on those weeks when you're not coming to class, because we're going to meet just every other week, you can pull out your vision and make sure that you are right in line with what you're doing.
To keep you on target.
To keep you on
Exactly.
target.
I love it.
And so if, as women, we get pulled in so many different directions, we get so busy. And so what you have to actually train yourself to do is to line up your answers to those requests against your visions and your mission. So somebody calls and they have this great thing for you to do. They want you to be a part of it. This job was made for you, Angel. You're going to just be the hostess with the mostess. And so what you would do is get your vision out and look at it. Does this get you closer to achieving that goal? Does it get you closer to fulfilling the mission, the vision? If not, the answer is no.
Yes.
No, thank
No.
you.
No, thank you. Yes.
No, thank you is a complete
And
sentence.
that's really hard,
And it's one of the hardest things for people to do because we're people pleasers. We want to say yes. We want to help others and everything. And that was one of the hardest things that I learned was to form my mouth in the shape of an O and put an N in front of it. And I can do it pretty easily now. Although,
I say.
exactly. Although there are some times where I just can't because it resonates with me. And when I heard you guys were teaming up again this month to do it again, I thought, oh, got to get this book done. So
Yes.
I made a prayer promise, and I have to keep that prayer promise. And then after Angel did her book, and now it's in print.
She
and
showed you
everything,
up.
She did. She came right in
yet-
there and went gung ho.
And I have to say, the no word is something that my whole life I've learned to use. But since publishing my book and making that effort to just get it out there, I had a room full of unfinished projects, all these things that I thought I would like to do. And it's very interesting because once I published and I finished that, that's the only project that really mattered.
I hear you.
Everything else has gone to Salvation Army and Goodwill because actually that is where my heart beats the most.
Yes.
is in the written word and sharing my heart or sharing a thought or bringing people to maybe think together. And so it's definitely helped my, my budget out, because I'm not going out trying these new things or having a collection of fabric and a collection of this. Now it's just all about, waiting and for the next
Message?
inspiration. Yeah, because I get lots of different inspirations at times, but then, what will be the next project? What will be the next, messages? So I think that, once you do those things, that the one thing you're called to do, all of a sudden, nothing else is important.
Don't you find that was, I'm sorry, that's when you're doing what makes your heart shine.
That's right.
There's no better place to be than that. I mean, that's when you're the happiest, you have the most joy in your life, and there's just no comparison.
And being creative that way with it.
Yeah, and no one's going to write your story for you.
No.
And you don't want them to once you're gone, because they're
Even
going to
though
get it wrong.
People come to us and they say,
Yes.
I mean, I get that question more than anything else. Do you have a ghostwriter that will write this story?
Yeah.
And I say, yes, there is. We can get you a ghostwriter. And I've actually tried to find the perfect ghostwriter for several of my authors, including Karen Gilman. And number one, it's costly.
Yes.
And number two, like, for example, I have a ghostwriter who's a retired male attorney who's about 75 years old. Could he write a book for someone who's in her 40s, a female in her 40s, about weight loss? Probably not. Right. He could give it a good shot, but I think it would be hard being her voice, and I don't know that she would be happy with it. What happened was she ended up, after that, we figured out a way for her to talk into her phone and take that story and then take it to print. And so she did that. But when we come back, I know Barb's saying 1 minute, so I just want to say, I want to just say a couple of things. Even though that she knew that she was going to do this, it wasn't easy. Angel didn't just snap her fingers and say,
I know.
It's done.
I know.
So maybe we could talk about that. And the fact that there are we had other authors that were doing things like children's stories.
Exactly.
And one woman was doing an accounting book. So it's not, doesn't have to be your story you're telling.
That's right.
It's something you're passionate about.
That's right. Hold that thought. Time to go to housekeeping and do another little break. When we come back, we have more. We're going to hear from Angel Nally, author of Angel Wings. And let me tell you, get the Kleenex out. We'll be right back.